Yeah.
I think we can do better than that. And even in with Miss Vicky Hamilton. If you know Vicky, you know her from the work she's done with the bands like Faster Pussycat, Poison, and of course Guns N' Roses. So what we're going to do is basically Q&A here. I'm going to start some stuff off, and hopefully you guys have many questions to ask, and I'm all right?
Yeah.
You can say yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know, Vic, to start off, what sort of compelled you to come to LA and start doing what you did, kind of thing?
Am I using your mic or this
Should we
mic?
pass back and forth?
Yeah,
with this one?
maybe.
Okay.
Well, I met that guy that just played that song, Tom Petty, and he told me I looked like a California girl, and that's kind of all it took. I went to LA for a month, then went back to Indiana for a year and saved money and moved on out.
And how was it when you kind of got there? I mean, you know, what were you doing to survive and stuff like that? Should we do that? Sorry, we gotta, you know, we'll start on that, guys. We'll get it. There we go.
Well, you know, in Indiana, I was kind of a big fish in a small pond, and when I got to California, I was a little fish in a big pond, and, you know, I knew I was home when I saw the Sunset Strip. I just fell in love with, you know, the whole music scene at that point in time, you know.
So how did you, could you interview Tom Petty once, right?
Yeah, I did.
So how did you get that gig?
I chased him down and basically stalked him in South Bend, Indiana.
Brilliant.
And he agreed to let me, you know, he was a good sport about it all, so that was cool.
Fantastic. So kind of, so you start off with, what was your first sort of initial job after you got into LA? I mean, did you immediately go into what you did with the management? Or?
Oh, no. No, I was a cocktail waitress at first the Palomino. I think that lasted for 2 weeks. And then Gazzari's, where I met Rock's Regime, which later turned into Striper, and Rat, and Shark Island, and a few of those bands. And one day my roommate worked for Van Halen and Noel Monk, and I wanted to put them on the guest list to come see a band there, and actually it was the Striper band, and Bill Gazzari wasn't there when I set it up with them, and he came into the club later and he took me out in the parking lot and told me I was dangerous and that I wanted to run his club. So that was kind of short-lived, and then I went to work at the Starwood, and then the owner got popped for drugs, so it was over. I was a shitty cocktail waitress anyway, so.
So, you know, as time goes on, you end up, you had a relationship with Motley Crue and working with Alan Kaufman.
Yeah, I was working at Licorice Pizza, a record store across the street from the Whiskey, and I kept seeing these guys walking up Clark Street in stiletto heels, and you know, it was a little odd for the time period. It was like when punk rock was sort of reigning supreme, and I'm like, what's going on with these guys, and who are they, and you know. And then finally, Nikki Sixx came into my record store with his girlfriend and started chatting him up and told him about my ambition, and he told me I should meet his manager and gave me a single. I think it was Stick to Your Guns or something. And yeah, I went to work for Motley Crue, basically. Yeah.
Was there I remember reading something quite recently, a guy that recently died, ran, apparently he was like Nikki Sixx, when Nikki wasn't there, he was his decoy around about the Theater of Pain tour. You know anything about that?
No.
Okay. Anyone know anything about this guy that used to say he was Nikki's stand-in or anything?
Is in your band?
Oh, that's Niall. That's all right. So yeah, the thing with the crew goes on, and then you start working with Poison, right?
It was Motley Crue and Striper.
Oh, right, about Striper though. Didn't they become Oh, they were a Christian band and you didn't know it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I didn't know that because I knew them as Rock's Regime, you know, and I even went to their rehearsal and I saw the Isaiah, what is it, 777 thing, and I was like, you know, that didn't even hit me, you know.
Yeah.
I just thought, okay, yellow and black, cool, you know. It wasn't until I started hitting kids in the head with Bibles before I like realized
They were from Bibles in the audience and stuff, right?
before I realized what was really happening. But and they had a lady from the church that was like backing them, and she was like, "Yeah, you're gonna be one of our soldiers." I was like, "What? Okay." And then they like made us wear yellow and black all the time. It felt like a big bumblebee. It's like I still can't really put that combination together and be okay about it. But yeah.
Memories of the past. So, you know, around about this time, this Poison would come around, and I think prior to CCT Bill, Slash was going to be in Poison, right?
Yeah, the original guitar player, Matt Smith, got his girlfriend knocked up, so we like had to audition guitar players, and they basically hired Slash, and Slash was like, okay, I'll do it, but I'm not going to say, hi, my name's Slash, or wear all the funky makeup, and the next day CC walked in, and, you know, that was kind of the end of the story.
So was he like kind of a member for a day or something, or?
He'd never played a gig or anything, no. He didn't really want the gig, he just felt like he should take it.
Just to have it.
Yeah.
So when it comes to Guns N' Roses, obviously, how did that gig happen? Because you were working with Slash's band.
Yeah, Slash was in a band called Black Sheep for about 10 minutes, and you know, he told me that he wanted to find something more, I don't know what, but he wasn't into Black Sheep that much. So, you know, I auditioned him for everything I had going pretty much because I loved him, and then, you know, I was also booking Hollywood Rose at the time, and then Hollywood Rose opened, and Black Sheep was the middle band, and Striker was the last band at a place called the Music Machine. And it's so funny because, you know, I think there was maybe 25 or 30 people in the room, and everybody in LA now says they were at that gig. So, kind of interesting.
I've met people that say they're at that gig, and some of them would have been like 5 at the time.
Yeah, right.
As far as Guns N' Roses, who then come, you know, pretty much not long after that, because wasn't it you introduced Axl and Slash together, right?
Well, I thought I did, but Slash said that he had actually jammed with Axl before that. But they shook hands like they were meeting, so, but Slash said he did jam with him like a year earlier or something.
Did you ever think at the time that they would become what they did?
Well, not in that moment, but it was sort of a slow moment, you know, where you see like history sort of being made and realize it. But yeah, who could know 100 million records, you know?
Yeah.
100 million records later, no, I didn't know that they'd be that big. I thought they would be big though.
Was I hear some stories of people when I was out in LA, and apparently Axl's timekeeping, the way that he became notorious for, was still the same back in the early days as well. Is that right?
I'm not sure what you're asking me.
Maybe,
that was like in English lost in translation.
Okay.
He means, was he always 4 hours late for a gig?
Was he always 4 hours late for a gig?
No, not in the early days, but sometimes an hour late. A lot of times I couldn't find him, so, you know, it was like, you know, I was hunting him down, so.
So your whole experience with the early days of Guns, right? So, you know, I mean, you were there on those early Troubadour and, you know, Music Machine, I think that exists on the bootlegs there. But those sort of experiences for you, how was it? You could, I mean, maybe you didn't see them becoming as big as they are now, but did you see something like brewing there?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I booked them sight unseen, you know, it's like Axl and Izzy walked. Well, Axl called me on the phone and said, you know, you come highly recommended, will you book some gigs for us? So I was like, send me a tape. And he's like, can I just come play you a tape right now? I was like, well, I don't really have a stereo here. And he's like, well, I'll bring a ghetto blaster. And that kind of made me laugh, so I let them come, and like a couple hours later, you know, they'd come in with like a few pictures and this tape, and I was just blown out. So I booked them without even seeing them.
Later on, going on, Atlas said something about Kim Foley, about you being kind of like, was there a sexist vibe about you being a female manager back in those days of LA?
Yeah, I think the 80s was a different time, and women were treated differently, worse, I think. You know, most of the girls on the scene were either strippers or hookers, and you know, I made up my mind early on that I wasn't gonna like sleep with the bands. I was gonna work in the business. So, you know, that's how it rolls. So.
Yeah, you were doing A&R with Geffen as well. How was that?
Well, I did A&R with Geffen after I helped them sign Guns N' Roses.
Right,
so
right.
It was a trade-off, you know. But after Motley Crue and Stryper and Poison, it was like, yeah, I'll take the stability of an A&R job. So, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Do you want to do one of the readings of?
Sure.
So this Vic's going to do a couple of readings from the book, and by the way, if you have the money, fucking buy the book today. This is what we're on sale, and you can get it signed and the photograph as well. So I'll leave this with you.
But you have to sit on the couch with me. I fell down in LA a week ago and hurt my leg, so.
And I interrupt.
I'm not just like a rude bitch and not like getting up to shake your hand. I'm just like in a lot of pain, and I just took a pain pill, so I don't know how I'm going to be reading because I'm 16 years sober and feeling kind of loopy right about now. All right. So, is this working now? Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to read one story, which is chapter 1, part of chapter 1, which is called Welcome Back to the Jungle. And this was the day that Guns N' Roses signed with Geffen Records. Where are you going? We have to be at Geffen Records in an hour to sign the contract, I said. Axel whizzes by me on his way out the door, his dark green eyes turning to lime green kaleidoscopes. Go without me, he says, slamming the screen door and stomping off past the swimming pool and straight out of the wire-iron security gate, heading east towards the Sunset Strip. What's that about, I say to Slash, who's fresh out of the shower. His long curly locks are even longer from the weight of the water. He sits on the worn sofa in the living room, strumming his unplugged sunburst Les Paul, while staring at the MTV video countdown on TV. Can't find his contact lenses. He thinks someone stole them. Slash rolls his eyes and sighs and lights another Marlboro Red, his last one still smoldering in a pyramid of cigarette butts on a heap of empty beer bottles and a near-empty gallon of Jack Daniels. Help me find them. Fuck, we're going to be late. We can't be late to sign the contract after that he put a rush on getting that advance check. I think out loud, and I sift through the debris of last night's party looking for Axel's missing contact lens case. Make him wait, Izzy added, as he checks his reflection and fluffs his blue-black hair in the bathroom medicine cabinet mirror. Satisfied, he carefully places his Gatsby cap on his head with a tilt towards the left. The phone rings and Welcome to the Jungle plays on a continuous loop, the part where Axel sings, You're in the jungle, baby, you're gonna die. Beep. To this day, that line in the song still sends shivers up my spine. Duff is saying, pick up, man, pick up. I pick up the phone as the answering machine feeds back, screeching in Duff's ear and mine. Ouch, I'll be there in a half hour, Duff says. Great, see you then, I say, hanging up and continuing to search for the contact lenses as the clock is ticking louder and louder. Suddenly, the realization hits me that we are definitely going to be late. Why would I think anything would be different today than any other day? This is par for the course for this band. Steven bounces in, smiling from ear to ear. Today's the day, he says, as he pulls his drumsticks from his back pocket and taps out a rhythm on the living room wall. Not if we don't find Axel's contact lenses, I say. Slash emerges from the one and only bedroom that I share with Jennifer Perry, who is my best friend and booker of the world-famous Troubadour.
holding the Covenant contact lens case and a pair of Axel's leather pants. "Looky here," Slash smirks. "And a pair of pants that he had on a couple of days ago," I smile. "Thank you." Grabbing the case, I run out the door to find Axel, checking the liquor store, shops, and restaurants on the strip. He's nowhere to be found. A couple of hours pass. We're all still calling and looking for Axel. I call Tom Zutai at Geffen Records and tell him that we're running a little late. "Why?" Tom whispers. "Oh, you know, just trying to get all 5 of them in one place," I assure him. "We'll be there soon. Did you get the check for the advance?" It wasn't easy, but I have it here in my hot little hands. A calming thought washes over me. Soon they won't be living in my apartment anymore. "We'll be there soon. I'm sorry for the inconvenience." "I'll hold down the fort, but hurry, okay," Tom says. Slash comes in the door, and as I'm putting the receiver down, I don't believe it. "Come look." Horrified at what I might see, I follow Slash out to the curb of my apartment on Clark Street and follow his pointed finger to the roof of the Whiskey A Go-Go on the corner of the block. "Oh my God," I scream. Axel is sitting in easy pose overlooking a city in which he is becoming the new ruling king. The sun is setting, and I think to myself, Jim Morrison would be proud. In this moment, I realize things are about to change, and Guns N' Roses will never be the same. Los Angeles glistens at twilight, azure blue, pink, and silver, as the lights from the building give the city sky a golden overtone. The city traffic slows as the workday for 9-to-5ers is winding down. Is that me that's ringing? You can hear the sound of a kick drum and a Marshall amp blaring from the open door of clubs along the Sunset Strip. But this is not just any day in the City of Angels, not for Guns N' Roses, and certainly not for me, because tonight, as all other young wannabe rock stars in West Hollywood print, pose, and dream of becoming famous, Axl Rose, Slash, Duff, and Izzy, and Steven are about to become household names. "We found your contact lenses," Slash yells up to Axl. "Where were they?" "In your leather pants pocket in the corner of the closet. Somebody probably hid them. They didn't want me to read the contract," Axl says, still facing the city with his back towards us. "Who would do that?" I snap. "You, for one. That's crazy. I'm the one who got you the lawyer to protect your rights. Do you want me to call them and tell them that we're not coming? That you changed your mind?" My patience is waning. "No, I'm coming," Axl yells back. He takes a deep breath and sighs and then rolls down the fire escape ladder to join us on the street. Slash hands Axl the treasure hunt prize and conclude, "We have passed the evening test. Let's go sign the contract." Life, according to Slash, consists of 3 tests a day: the morning test, the afternoon test, and the evening test. If you're lucky enough to pass 3 tests, you get rewarded with 3 more tests the next day. Great, I think to myself. We walk back across the street to 1114 Clark Street, where Izzy, Steven, and new arrival Duff are waiting. On closer inspection of Duff's hair, I realize it's newly dyed just for the occasion. Manic Panic Electro Banana. "Good color," I say as I point to his hair. Axl pops in his lenses. I call Geffen Records and say we are all on our way. I glance at my watch. It's 8 p.m. We're 3 hours late. The 3 city blocks from Clark Street, right past Doheny Drive, where Geffen Records is located, should only take a few minutes, but in 1985, those 3 blocks are the epicenter of the rock music scene, where a lot of shiny distractions lie in wait. The rock posters and flyers for upcoming shows are several inches thick on a telephone pole. Walking by, I think back a couple of years prior when I was managing Poison and how they had such a great system for posting these flyers. There were nightly poster wars, and all the bands had it in for Poison because they had an army of followers. Every night, Poison would somehow manage to be the last band to get their faces plastered all over the Sunset Strip. Wannabe rockers stand on the curbs like carnival barkers, passing out their flyers for upcoming gigs, hoping to get the attention of a record label executive, a club booker, or a hot groupie or 2. I try not to look the rockers in the eyes as I walk down the strip. I didn't want to be recognized. My plate was already full with more glam rockers and metalheads than I knew what to do with, and I hated turning down bands, especially ones with talent. Turning west on the Sunset Strip, we passed the Whiskey A Go-Go, the Roxy Theater, and the Rainbow Bar and Grill, then Gazzari's, before crossing the street to Geffen Records at Sunset and Doheny Drive. These 3 city blocks have become my home, the only place where I felt comfortable in Los Angeles. I follow behind Guns N' Roses, making sure I don't lose any of them on the way. And I'm also daydreaming about my own Sunset Strip experience. Across the street from the Whiskey is the store called Oz, a huge novelty gift shop. Before that, it was Licorice Pizza, the record store where I first cut my teeth in Hollywood, unless you consider being a cocktail waitress at the Palomino, Gazzari's, and the Starwood cutting your teeth. Footnote, I was a terrible cocktail waitress. To this day, I don't even know why I thought that balancing a heavy tray of splashing drinks while weaving my way through a crowd of noisy and drunk patrons was a good idea. It was Licorice Pizza where I met Nikki Sixx from Motley Crue and later started working as a management consultant for their first manager, Alan Kaufman. Motley Crue had also lived on Clark Street. Motley had been my first in many ways. The first band I worked with that made it from Hollywood hopefuls to international stars. The first band I got involved with when I moved to LA from Indiana. The first band I did cocaine with, and lastly, the first band who introduced me to bondage parlors, strip clubs, black magic, and the occult. As we continue to walk, I think back to my first few weeks in town when I saw Joan Jett performing at the Whiskey. The year was 1981, and I Love Rock and Roll was soaring to the top of the charts. It became my theme song. Remembering back to Indiana, I had idolized Joan Jett and the Runaways because they were women who were making it in rock and roll business. Then, when I heard Chrissie Hynde singing Tattoo Love Boys on the debut Pretenders album, I thought, this is the kind of band I want to manage. While still in Indiana, I had interviewed Tom Petty for the Three Rivers Review, a free press local newspaper. He told me that I looked like a Hollywood girl and that I should leave Indiana and make my way out west. From one of my idols, that's all I needed to hear. Passing by the Roxy, I think of the Guns N' Roses show that I'm promoting in 2 days on March 28th, an industry showcase for the band. At this point, I wonder why bother, as we are on our way to sign a contract with Geffen Records. I had confirmed at least 20 A&R people from several other labels for the guest list for the Roxy show. How do I not announce our Geffen signing the night of the show? Damned if I do, damned if I don't. Winding up labels for something they can't have. My thinking was that we could drive up the advance and the recording fund. That day, the showcase of all the record companies would be kissing my ass to have a shot at controlling the careers of these young rouges. The charismatic and borderline dangerous rock and roll group that everyone seems to think is the next big thing. I knew Geffen was the right label for the band, but I had worked so hard to get all these A&R people to attend. It almost feels like Axl is enjoying my predicament. Axl was also pissed that I put Lions and Ghost on as the opener for the second show, because he knew I was crazy about their singer, Rick Parker, who I ended up signing to Geffen later. Axl didn't think the 2 bands were compatible and voiced his displeasure. I just think he was jealous and wanted to be the center of attention. Axl always had a way of spoiling other people's fun. Then there was the Rainbow Bar and Grill, the spot where I have the most memories and also lack of memories. How many times had I gone to dinner at the Rainbow and lost track of time or the number of drinks, talking with some upcoming rock star, or lusting after some cute boy, only to wake up with a raging hangover. I smile when I think of Mario, my guardian angel of the Sunset Strip, one of the 3 owners of the Rainbow, Roxy, and Whiskey. He would give me and the Guns N' Roses boys pizzas if we were starving, encouraging me to get the money when I was inside the box office of the Roxy. Mario was always interested to hear what I was working on next. I remember he introduced me to Mick Jagger like it was no big deal. Then there was the Rainbow parking lot, sandwiched between the Rainbow and the Roxy. At 2 in the morning, this was the place to find the missing musicians for your band, or at least a date for an after-hours party. We passed Gazzari's, another fine establishment where I had the pleasure of working as a cocktail waitress. Bill Gazzari once told me that I was dangerous and wanted to run his club. all because I put David Lee Roth and his then manager Noel Monk on the guest list to come see Rock's regime, later to become Stryper. Who could forget that infamous Bill Gazzari radio commercials? Only the foxiest guys get up on my stages. Yes, the strip held a lot of memories, but as the six of us crossed the street and walked through the doors at Geffen Records, I could not have imagined the great and very astonishing memories that laid ahead of me.
So let's have a couple of questions then, guys, and we'll get back to the stuff like that as well. So, any questions in here? Come on. Angel.
Okay, so between Vince Neil, Brett Michaels, Take Me Down, and what was Axl Rose, who was the biggest asshole?
Brett Michaels, by far.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Why?
Well, Axel's honest. Brett isn't.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Anyone else? No?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. What's your name?
John.
John?
I know Stephen Adler and Slash have thank you for all the phone speech. What terms are you on with the band members, the original band members now? Are you on good terms?
Yeah, I'm still friendly with all of them, but Axel, but I would speak to Axel if he called me, but I haven't spoken to him since, the late 80s, early 90s, and, Axel, Slash and Steven, I've been close with for the last 30 years. They've been on tour, I haven't talked to them since November of last year, probably, but.
Have you been to see the new tour?
I have. I went to Las Vegas for the second show. I had a reading at the Guitar Center, so double duty.
You went to the New York one as well, right?
Yes, I went to New York.
Cool. How would you say it compares with what you saw on the recent show compared to obviously what you witnessed in the early years?
Well, in the early years, they were a lot rawer, and I don't know, it was more exciting to me because, you knew you were watching a train wreck, but you couldn't take your eyes off of it. What I saw in Vegas was very polished and very good and had all the bells and whistles, and they're on the top of their game as far as how they play and sing, but it's not the same thing. And I still miss Steve and, Izzy, so.
Yeah. We were talking about that earlier on. I don't know many people follow Twitter, but Izzy had something to say about the.
Yeah.
So Izzy had something to say about his not being in the current reunion tour.
Didn't he say it was to do with money, and that was purely fair?
He did, in fact.
Yeah. It's pretty much.
Basically, he wouldn't get a fair cut, so he said, screw you out.
Yeah, it's like 91 all over again, basically. So,
Yeah, basically.
yeah.
And that's just wrong. Izzy was a really important piece of the songwriting. And
Absolutely.
to me, I don't think they've really written good songs
You mean
since
Chinese
departure.
democracy, or hypocrisy as we call it?
Yeah, I'm not really into it.
That's brilliant.
I call that Axel and the Hired Gun.
Yeah, Axel Cohen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they were the only tribute band bigger than us back in the day.
They copied you, dude.
Huh?
They copied you.
Well, most of that lineup ended up playing with us at some point anyway, so.
Well, yeah. What do you think about Axel joining AC/DC? Do you think it's a bit of a hypocrisy?
Well, I wasn't sure if he could pull it off, but he is pulling it off. He sounds good. He's a fan. I think it's been a good thing for him.
I think he pulled it off a little bit.
I think that surprised everybody. Everybody was very
We
surprised.
were hoping
No,
Gavin
the
would do it.
surprise was he came on half an hour early.
Wow.
Really?
I was still running down the concourse at the stadium to try and go and see him. He was already on. I was like, shit.
And he everybody's been on time for the gun shows, you know.
Early as
I mean,
well.
in LA, I think the call went on at 6:30 or something. It was like ridiculous, but yeah.
Anybody else, guys? Harrison.
If Guns N' Roses had launched, for example, this year, do you think they would have survived with the way social media is?
I think it's a different day, but you know, Guns N' Roses, great band. You know, I gotta believe that Cream would rise to the top no matter what. But you know, it's definitely a different day. I mean, when I did A&R at Geffen, we did demo deals, and we, you know, make demos with bands, and we'd take 3 months to decide if we were going to sign them or not. I mean, you know, if Bruce Springsteen got signed today, he would be considered a country artist, and who knows if he would have like gotten to the point where he made a good record, you know.
What do you think about bands like Steel Panther and Black Veil Brides? Do you think if they were doing that back in the 80s, because that's what they cloned?
You know, it's really hard for me to watch Steel Panther because they mock all the bands that I work with.
Was that
So,
Is that because
I mean, I like Ralph. I think he's cool, and I've put some of my upcoming bands on opening for them.
Do
You know.
you think that because there used to be a Van Halen tribute band, that's what they play now to do the whole jokey rock metal? Look at me, I wear a wig. Because it's not real.
Well, they're managed by Paul Geary, who's a very smart guy, and he put $2 million into them and made them like a household name. I mean, I managed a band from Australia called The Art. They sold out 2 stadium dates in 10 minutes in Australia. I mean, for a band that played like a gag thing at Gazzarri's, I mean, at Billboard Live then, but
Some of the boys from the art seem to be doing quite well, playing in many glam bands, but also with
yeah.
X-Men's, Ramones, etc. Because obviously,
Zaria was just in LA, and I have a club called Found Sound at the Lost Room. I do once a night at a place called the Lost Room in Echo Park. He played an acoustic set. It was really great to see him. I just saw on the social media feed that KJ was just in a motorcycle accident. I'm a little concerned, but she's all right, you know.
So, apart from managing the bands, obviously, you have Bar Sinister as well.
Yep.
So,
And you DJ'd there, so
I did.
you probably know the
Many
answer to
moons
whatever
ago.
you're going to ask me. So
No,
go
I'm not
ahead.
gonna ask you that. I was going to ask you, obviously Bar Sinister is quite a cult thing in LA now,
Yeah.
Gothic and industrial, and quite a lot of DJs that I've known for quite a while. How did you get involved with a goth industrial club?
That's actually an interesting answer. My AA sponsor at the time introduced me to Trisha, and she thought it would be a good gig for me. I've never been like a goth girl, but you know, I would put on a goth every Saturday and go down and do that thing, you know.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I started liking it a bit more, you know. But, you know, people would be like looking for me at the club, and I would say, they call me on the phone, and they go, well, how will we know it's you? And I go, I'll be the only one smiling.
That is kind of a misconception. Yeah.
So, anybody else? Any questions here?
Who was the craziest one?
Craziest one?
We are like Guns N' Roses, Jean-Luc.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh,
In
oh,
Guns N'
we're
Roses
just talking
is the
about Guns N'
craziest one.
Roses?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let's think about that.
Gavin?
I'm going to go with Axel on that one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like crazy in a happy way or just psychotic way?
You don't want to make him mad.
Okay. Speaking of which, actually, wasn't he hiding out in your house on the police once?
Yeah.
What was that about?
Well, they were staying in the rehearsal hall that was like, I don't know, probably twice the DJ booth there. It was like a really small space. And they had built like this riser thing over the space where they were rehearsing, and they would sleep up there. And Axel had a girl over and, I don't know, she pissed him off or something and he locked her outside without her clothes on and she went to the cops and said that he had raped her. He did not rape her, and I got him a lawyer and got the charges dropped. But in the meantime, he moved into my house and it was supposed to be 3 days and ended up being 6 months. So.
Brian, anybody else?
Is there anything you do differently now in hindsight and experience, which I was going to think maybe, but with regards to managing the band?
I got sober. You know, I used to party with the bands. I don't do that anymore. You know, I might have gotten sober a little sooner had I known. You know.
What was your best memory? I'm sure there's
Best memory of
just being back and
all the bands or
Guns N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses. Well, the most gratifying moment is when they thanked me at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But, you know, making the copy of their advance check, I was like pretty damn proud of myself too. You know, we like had dinner with everybody in town and everybody wanted to sign that band. It's never happened to me again since that, you know, getting more of that caliber. I've gotten 18 bands signed, but that by far was like the most exciting experience I've ever had.
Speaking of the Hall of Fame thing, I remember I was with Stephen specifically saying, and going back 10 years ago when I talked with him in Adam's Appetite, we were Adam's Appetite, funnily enough, a version of. But he always used to talk about you then, and I had a girl with me, blonde girl called Sally, and he used to call her Vicky, and yeah. I mean, we were all drunk quite a bit, but yeah, I can remember before the show he's on the Jägermeister and he's like, Vicky, and the other girl was called Vicky and he's calling the blonde girl, and it, you know, so.
Yeah.
But basically, when Stephen kind of sees you as this mother figure, I mean, is he like your kind of one out of all the 5 guys that, you know, you're still closest to, would you say?
You know, I'm very close with Slash, too. You know, they're all my kids.
Yeah.
Even though I hadn't, like, talked to Axel since the 90s, if he called me, I would meet him tomorrow, you know. It's like all of the bands, you know, pretty much I would.
That's cool. And so
I get mad at him for a while, but I don't hold grudges. You know, life's too short. It's like I'm a Course in Miracles student, and one of the things that, you know, is said in the Course in Miracles is if you hold a sword over someone's head, the only person it falls on is you. So that's kind of the truth, you know.
we got any more questions here?
Is Axl Rose really like a born again Christian now? Or this is just a rumor?
I haven't talked to him since the 90s. Your guess is as good as mine.
Is he? No, I don't think he is, dude. Where did you read that?
Well, I read that on YouTube now. Actually, didn't read it, I heard it on YouTube.
All right. I don't think he is.
And he was saying that he's always like changed and all the crap that he's not crazy anymore.
I don't know. I think he was like crazy until up until he left for this tour. You know, I know people that hung out with him. So.
Yeah, I know a couple of recent stories, the backstage ones actually. I just think everybody's mellowing out as they get older, really.
Yeah.
I don't know about finding God or anything.
I mean, at this point, they have to be saying, "Been there, done that." So.
Do you still catch up and still quite in contact with Monica?
You know, I run into them occasionally, and you know, it's always polite. You know, I mean, the only one I didn't ever really hang out with was Mick Mars because he kind of kept his distance from the band. He wasn't really on the scene that much, but the rest of them I see occasionally. You know.
So what are you managing any bands now, Vic?
Yeah, I am actually. I manage a girl named Diana Meyer, and I'm in the process of doing a co-management deal with another band who will remain nameless until the deal is done, and there's a few others that I'm like looking at.
So we saw a few of these before, and this one didn't get mentioned, but you worked with June Carter Cash as well.
Yeah, I did.
Johnny Cash's wife, and the album that you did with her won a Grammy, right?
Yes, it did.
Can you tell us about that?
I managed a band called the Freewheelers who opened for June Carter, opened for Johnny Cash at the House of Blues, and standing at the bar with Rick Rubin and Tom Petty, and I was like, God, June Carter is so amazing, and she like literally kicked Johnny in the ass, and it was so good. And right in that moment, Rick Rubin goes, "You need to make a record with June Carter." I was like, ha ha ha, that's really funny. I don't know shit about country music. And I met her like as I was going down the stairs, and I was like, I really enjoyed it. She's like, "Oh, thank you, honey, thanks for coming, blah blah blah." And at that time, I was working at Lookout Management, Neil Young Management Company, and the next day, June called me at my office and had left a message saying, "Rick Rubin says you need to make my record, and I want to talk to you." As a courtesy call, I called her, and she's like, "Come meet with me." I was like, "Okay, why not?" It's June Carter. And when I sat with her in that meeting, I decided that I wanted to do the record. She said to me, "Oh, I play an auto harp," and I was like, okay. I had no idea what auto harp was, and my niece lives in Nashville, so I called her up, and I was like, "What's an auto harp?" It's kind of like that. And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to do this deal, and Neil had just started a record company called Vapor Records, and I thought, well, maybe I could do it with Vapor, but his main manager, Elliot Roberts, didn't want to do it. He's like, "There's no way we're going to make a record with a 70-year-old woman." I was like, "This is June Carter Cash. She's one of the original Carter family. What are you talking about? We have to make this record, Nope. So, I'm not a quitter. I was like, okay, I'm just going to shop this deal. So I shopped it to everybody in town. Nobody wanted to do it. I went to Nashville. Nobody wanted to do it. It was prior to Walk the Line, so it wasn't quite as hip to generate country stars yet. But so nobody wanted to do it, so I started my own label, Small Hairy Dog, and I ventured with a little distribution company, and I made the record. I oversaw it as an A&R person, and it won a Grammy. So I'm like 1 for 1.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Cool. What else we got out here, guys? Becca.
Okay. Sorry. What do you think has been the biggest change in, from a business point of view, in the music industry? Is it a lot different to how it was, how it is now?
Well, it's different in a lot of ways. I mean, in the 80s, there was no internet.
Yeah.
There wasn't even fax machines. I got my first fax machine when I was doing Guns N' Roses, and it was like, wow, this is going to really change my life. I'm not going to have to drive paperwork around town anymore, But then with the internet, it's made the world very small.
Yeah. But do you think also that's maybe had a negative impact in the respect that you don't get the super groups maybe that you used to get?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there'll be another Guns N' Roses or a Led Zeppelin or whatever, because there's no mystery in anything. But there'll still be great bands.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's what they call the long tail theory. It's like more bands will have careers, but they won't have the huge
longevity. Yeah.
Here's a question. So what do you think about all the old school bands touring?
What's that?
The old school band.
Oh, those. I don't go because I saw them when they were great, and when I go, I just get depressed. It makes me feel old, first of all, and second of all, it's never going to be as good as it was. I mean, I did go to see Guns N' Roses when it was great, and I don't regret it at all, because I never saw them in that arena, stance, because I was working at Geffen Records, so I didn't go to Use Your Illusion tour, so know, I'm sitting in there going, oh my God, you know, even if I just had the smallest piece of making that happen, it was just like awesome, you know. You know, it was like with Motley Crue, it was like the first band I worked that I saw make that transition from like a local hero to like international stars. And Nicky had told me about all the backdrops he wanted to do and all the pyro trips and all that, and I cried. It was just so amazing, you know, to see them reach this plateau of here it is and they're doing it, you know. It's like once you do that once, it's like you're constantly chasing the dragon to do it again. You know? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So what would be your advice, Vic, for anybody, I mean, in this time, I know we're in a different world than what it was, but, you know, there's a couple cases that kind of like to do what you did, or something similar. What advice would you have to give them?
Follow your own vision. I had a lot of boys club players tell me I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that. And just by them saying I couldn't do it made me want to do it more. But I've seen a lot of bands like, you know, give in to the visions of these people, and it's like, you ever notice how somebody's demo is like way better than the record? That's because they let some boys club player like dictate to them a producer and a style and whatever. I mean, if you're an artist, you know better than anyone else what you should sound like. And if you like follow your own vision and you fail, you're gonna feel a lot better about it than if you follow someone else's vision and fail. And get a super good, you know, internet social media person. That should be like the 5th member of the band.
On Simon, do you think Poison did a bit of that?
Poison, well, you know, we did a demo deal with Atlantic Records, and I thought those demos came out good, but Atlantic passed. And the reality is that Poison were a great show band at that point in time, but they weren't very good players. So if you didn't see the show, you didn't know that it was good. You know, it was like a process. It was kind of like a Sex and the City thing. You know, it was like the fat girls show up, and then the gay boys, and then the hipsters came for Poison. You know, we used to laugh about that. The fat girls were all in the front. You know.
Sometimes still happens today, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it is kind of weird. You go to gigs and you're like, go see LA Guns, and they just like look out from the DJ booth and you see all these girls at the front and you think, oh, for fuck's sake. And they all try to get backstage as well. That's the funny
Especially the Underworld.
The Underworld, they're all like hanging at the side, going, oh yeah, I want to go and meet Phil, I want to go and meet Tammy, and blah, blah, blah. 9 times out of 10, Tammy will go, oh yeah, come back. And you go back there and you're like, ah shit, I need to turn around and go back outside.
Yeah, I've seen that.
That's why,
Yeah.
but that's why Tammy is able to have a career, because he's very personable like that. You know, he did the Pretty Ugly Club and all that other stuff. It's like, he has never stopped touring.
Why do you think Faster Pussycat never reached the heights of Guns, Poison, Crew, and Vic?
I'm not really sure. I mean, maybe because they were on Elektra Records, and you know, Bob Krasno really wasn't like a metal fan. He didn't even want to do Motley Crue. You know, you don't want to sign with a record label that has no history of doing the kind of music that you are.
Yeah.
Like, was it your bitch that said you were on Arista? I was like, oh, I'm sorry, because Arista never broke a rock.
They were very good to us.
You know, it's like, Clive Davis knows how to do pop acts.
Whitney Houston.
Yeah, that kind of stuff, he's like brilliant. But a rock
Didn't
band,
Arista have the notes enough?
what's that?
Didn't Arista have the notes enough?
No, I don't think so, wasn't it? I think it was Epic, right?
Was it Epic?
Yeah. Who I loved, by the way. Yeah.
I thought that they were like one of the kind of unsung heroes, sort of, with the whole kind of Beatles-esque type glam metal.
Yeah.
over the years.
Good songwriters.
Yeah.
It's funny, I had a publishing deal with Virgin Music, and they paid for me to go write with Enough's Enough in Memphis. And they got me so stoned I couldn't we didn't write anything. But we went to Graceland, and we went to Sun Studios and all that stuff.
Yeah,
We watched the ducks climb into the fountain.
I can just imagine them being stoned in Graceland.
What's that?
I can imagine them going, oh yeah, the king, oh man, yeah,
Yeah.
peace and love,
Yeah.
glam metal. What do you think about, obviously back in the day, one of the first bands to get majorly signed was Quiet Riot.
Right.
Which kind of then, if you go back and watch all the documentaries about hair metal and Sunset Strip, they always come back to Quiet Riot. How do you think that impacted on it, but also the fact that when Quiet Riot got signed, Randy Rhoads was no longer
Wow, it was such a tragic loss, Randy Rhoads. A friend of mine did a coffee table. Well, actually, the guy that laid out my book laid out the Randy Rhoads coffee table book and the other book, and they made the documentary, and the Rhoads family sued them, and Sharon Osbourne was not happy with it either. Yeah, but they won the lawsuit, and now nobody cares because it's been so long. And it's a really good documentary and a beautiful coffee table book, but Quiet Riot was never my favorite, but they were on the scene for a long time, and some of the things they did was, pretty classic. I went to a party once that they had that was pretty wild. I thought that Kevin DeBro would have a heart attack then, but it took him, like 20 years after that.
Yeah, I just found it quite a shame because obviously Randy Rhoads is one of my favourite guitarists of all time. So.
Yeah, he was brilliant. There's no question about that. And a lot of guitar players in Hollywood still to this day idolize him.
So guys, we got any more? Because I think we're gonna have to wrap up soon. Because Arno's got some. What's he got? He's got that
Techno party.
Hungarian techno party. Apparently, some cover band's going to do a few songs after this.
You need to do the intro. Do you know where you are? You're in the lounge, baby. And
anybody else, just quickly, guys, I'm going to wrap up. But listen, I want everybody to buy a book before you leave. Otherwise, there's a couple of guys on a door that are going to make you buy a book. Right? I'm only kidding. But listen, if we've got Ben?
Did Axel have the the frizzy hair he has in Welcome to the Jungle video? Did he have that before the Welcome to the Jungle video, or was it just for that?
There was a month or two sort of glam period of it that they thought that they should be in the scene, and then it was never mind, that's not who we are.
So when you first met him, he had the straight hair?
Yeah, straight hair. He wore mostly a kilt with buttless chaps, was kind of his uniform, with a white shirt.
In the really early days?
In the early days, yeah.
he was on the wrong scene. He was hanging out with Rob Halford.
Yeah. If you look back as well, there's some shows from '86, a year before Jungle was filmed, and he has that same image. I think he kind of
There's a
brought it
Music
back.
Machine video that has a full set on YouTube. You should watch that. I mean, that was the band I'm in.
Yeah, that was the show you put on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't have any connotation.
And the rock thing was up on
Yeah,
YouTube as well.
yeah.
Right then, guys, if we got no more, we're gonna have to wrap this up. But I was only kidding about guys being on the door to buy books. But listen, everybody, give a round for Miss Vicky Hamilton.
So should I stay here and find books, or what am I gonna do?
Yeah. Right. If you're going to get some books, everybody come up here, and I think the guy's gonna set something up on the stage. So, yeah, everybody come say hi. Today.
We can't move unless you're drunk.
Everybody just moves so slow in this place, It's like...
Yeah, okay. All right.
Hey, man. You're right. Okay.